this stop, I always mention that if you're going to come out to any of these
My name
trails, whether
is
you're
Zhong
going to hike or
Kai-yu.
just go for a quick walk,
I
and they have a
traveled in
map
Sedona
of the
this
visitor
summer,
center, recreation area,
and
where
I
they
was
go.
amazed
Also, most
by
of
the
these trailheads
uniqueness
have a
of
picture
this
of them.
city.
Take your phone, take a
Sedona
picture of
is a
them.
city
You'll
that
have a
sits in the middle of red rocks and mountains. Before the 1950s, Sedona was a place where children grew up in a land of cactus, rattlesnakes, and endless red dirt. Thousands of residents owned boundless spaces. While there were not many options for entertainment, opportunities for making a living, nor chances to communicate with the rest of the world. In 1945, Uptown Sedona had only a single service station and a few stores and taverns. First generation of residents were attracted to Sedona to build orchards. Will Albion Jordan and his sons were among the pioneers who started selling fruits from orchards to passengers along the highway. In the 1950s, some residents converted lodges in Sedona into resorts for others to stay for the holidays. It was during his stay in one of these resorts that Zane Grey found his inspiration for his book Call of the Canyon. The book was made into the first movie that was filmed in Sedona. More and more filmmakers started to notice Sedona as a perfect location for Western movies, and more people came to visit Sedona.
This is Sedona. Sedona has been home to a number of different movies. Wow. Most famous, Broken Arrow, Jimmy Stewart.
So you're from China,
What else
Thank you.
we have?
Bye-bye.
We've had stars here of all kinds. Elvis was out here in 1967 in a movie called Stay Away Joe. That was shot up on Schnebley Hill.
The increased population prompted the tourism industry to develop in the area. Nowadays, Sedona has become a popular destination for traveling. Walking down the streets, you might encounter people from different tourism companies giving you information for Jeep or car tours. One of the biggest among them is Pink Jeep.
We do guided Jeep tours around the Sedona area. Here in Sedona, we focus on taking people areas that they wouldn't get to in their own vehicle. And we have some of the most highly trained guides in the industry. So they teach our guests about flora, fauna, geology, history. So it's a really fun experience. It's something that they wouldn't be able to do on their own, and very educational as well.
Cowboy is the tradition of Sedona that never vanished. In the old days, cowboy led a free living style in Sedona. Now they provide more entertainment options in Sedona. Horseback tours are one of the most popular. Don't be surprised if a cowboy takes out a gun. He's just so proud of the cowboy culture and spirit and wants you to see it. Today's Uptown is filled with a wide range of restaurants featuring a variety of tastes. Many local chefs and bakers make innovative food and desserts using local materials. If you like ice cream, try prickly pear ice cream at Black Hawk Cafe. Although it might sound a bit peculiar, its flavor does win a lot of visitors. Cactus is also a cuisine found in Sedona restaurants, and you can also find rattlesnake as a fine dining feature entrance. Sedona is believed to be surrounded by vortexes and have energy flows that enhance prayers and spiritual connections with the nature. It is now one of the most popular destinations for meditation. The power and magic of Sedona draw many families to revisit or settle down in the city.
And my husband and I came to visit in 2010. And this was the first store I walked into. We had an hour's couple reading with one of the girls that worked here. And in the reading, she said, "You're being called to Sedona," because I felt like I had really come home. I broke into tears. It was this incredible feeling of I'm home. But it was an impossibility. I was living in Olympia, Washington. My husband was working. I was a stay-at-home mom. We had 3 children. So we went home, and I looked into energy healing, and I did become a certified healer. And the following trip, we booked down. 3 days before the trip, I slipped on the floor and broke my face. My cheekbone broke the fall. It snapped in 7 places. And we still came to Sedona, and we had dinner with the girl we had the reading with, and she said, "You're being called to Sedona and you're not paying attention." So we went home, we put our house on the market, my husband quit his job, and we moved down, and we've been here 4 years, and it's been the most wonderful move we've ever made.
Tourism plays a really crucial part in the transformation of Sedona.
Last I heard, Sedona has, and I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like 6,000 residents, and we see something along the lines of 4 million guests a year.
This increased population attracts worldwide brands to extend their business to Sedona.
A lot of the larger companies that are here, my understanding is normally you have to have a higher amount of people actually living in the town to support those businesses, but because there is the tourism here, they've opened it up. They've opened up businesses here even though technically we don't have the population that would normally support them.
The increased population also helps local business to thrive. Tourism in Sedona attracts people from all over the world to start a business in Sedona.
Sedona is a good place to start business if you're entertaining a business that relies on the tourist trade. If you're going to involve yourself in the tourist trade, then it's a pretty good place to start a business. We have a convenience store that sells wine that's produced in around Page Springs in Arizona. Also, there are breweries that we sell their beer. Most of the things that we sell at our trading post are produced on a lot on the Navajo Nation and Hopi. Some in the San Adelpho area of right outside of Santa Fe, but mostly our clothing is primarily imported, like most clothing is. We have a couple shoe companies that are, mostly made in the United States. But as far as local stuff goes, it's kombucha, beer, wine, that kind of stuff.
There are also many locally run family tourism businesses in Sedona. Local people are not all starting their own tourism businesses, but today's Sedona still has a deep influence on their career choices and living styles. In early times, Sedona was not a place that retained young people. Without the tourism industry, would they stay in Sedona, their hometown?
We would probably have to move down to an area like Phoenix that has more opportunities with, actual, I don't know. Computer industry and stuff is really big down there, so.
Now, by providing many local job opportunities, the Sedona tourism industry influences teenagers' career choices and places to settle down.
everybody working here pretty much is a local. Pretty much all of my family works in the tourism business as well. Yeah, friends and family, they are all employed by tour companies, restaurants, hotels, that sort of thing. A lot of my friends went to school for hospitality because they knew they'd be able to stay in the area and get jobs if they had a degree that had to do with management or hospitality.
Even just after a few days' stay in Sedona, I believe that Sedona has unseen power. It is this power that makes Sedona a special treasure. It gives Sedona leverage and attracts visitors and potential residents. The increased population and traffic allows the development of tourism, which catalyzes the tremendous transformation of Sedona. Sedona is no longer a desolate, desert, valueless city, nor unproductive land. People now never get bored visiting Sedona. Businessmen recognize the place as a market with potential. Foreigners find it a good place to live, and residents look upon the place as a home with no need to leave for job opportunities. I look back once more at the city, the streets, the stores, and the people. Will there be one day I would hear its summon?